Okay, I'll start to share. I really appreciate Chloe and Peter can come today. Can you guys see my slide? Not slide, the window, the share window. So eventually I see this. That's why I say like this. That's why I say like I appreciate Chloe can come. She's the she's the one to have to generate all those things, all those package. We have like those archiver things, and then there's Simulrise, also called the APP4 things. If you can see the flow chart, I'll make it bigger. So we have like those. After last week the workshop we talked about to run the model, and then when you have some output, or maybe then like Tilo may ask you to analyze or like to tidy up his data. Um, you may need to use the archiver, and then you may need to use the APV4, which has a Simulrise tools. But today, we'll just make a quick, I'll just quickly have a look at the archiver. In the last workshop, I also talked about the archiver, but I don't think we have time to go through that. But today we'll try to cover some of that. And then if I make any mistakes, Peter and Chloe, you're welcome to jump in and then to tell me. Okay, so we just click and then just go in. That's basically that's just the archiver. Um, Before that, I think before I really go from here, Liam, you remember last video we have those asset training in my GitHub. So if you go there, all those all whatever I share now, it's in there. So if you can find a archive or something, is there. But today, actually, we won't really use this one. We use the one from Thomas. I think there's some bug, maybe. I'm not quite sure. I can't really use it when I check out from Chloe's original. And so I use the one from Thomas. You know Thomas, right? In Tilo's team.
Thomas. Oh, yes,
Thomas,
yes, I do.
yeah, okay, yeah. He's the one
The
to
bug
give me the one.
the bug has been merged into the main
Okay.
repo, so it should work now.
Okay. Yeah, maybe then
The
if you
change
have
Thomas
time, you
did
can.
while I was away.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, I saw you like you merged like 2 or 3 days ago. But I'm not so sure like between this version and then Thomas version. But yeah, this original you should check off on here. Okay, rather than the one I'm going to show you. And the one I'm showing you now is actually from Thomas. It's in here under my GitHub. So there's an access archiver. This is from Thomas. Yeah, but now already merged into the code, the original one. So please use that one. So you know the structure of the output roughly. I'll just quickly. So you output like a historical. All the data will be under historical. You have like a atmosphere. You will have the. Maybe I'll stop. Share the whole screen. It'll be easier. So you have the atmosphere. You have the couple CIs and then the oceans, and under the atmosphere you have all those PP file. The format for ESM 1.5 you are not automatically convert to NetDF, so that's why another thing another benefit to use Archiver that will help you to tidy up the data and then convert to NetDF. The one I'm showing now is CM2. CM2 will automatic convert to NetDF. I hope one day maybe they can change the script and then, but now because you are using the data from Tilo, so all those data are PP format, not the NetDF. So you need the archiver to convert. The other thing is after you run the model, the raw data will keep at the scratch or somewhere else, but it's better to move to G data. Not only like to keep the long storage for the longer period, but also you can use the OD to read those data, to check the data or to do some simple plot. Even you use the original the PB format, the Python Iris can read it, but yeah. But we were not talking about that now. Okay, so we back to this one. the archiver. After you check it out, I put some listing here. So, what is that? No, archiver. Yeah, here, archiver. So yeah, recommend to use the one from Thomas, and then that's the way to check out. That's benefit, and okay, there's something you need to do. If you no need to worry about this, you just like next time maybe you can just go back to this GitHub. It's sort of like to go through all the things you need to do before you run it. First, you need to you go to the wrapper access archiver.sh and then try to find the base directory. That's your row output. That should be under somewhere. You remember in our workshop we use NF33, but in Tilo I think he's using P66 or somewhere else. You need to double check with that with the original row model output data. I guess maybe Chloe or Tilo already keep in somewhere else rather than under the Scratch, because Scratch will be washed out in like a couple of months. So it will be somewhere else, but just double check with that. That's your base data, base input. And then the output, as I say, like you better put somewhere under the G data, under your project, your name, and you create somewhere else to keep those things. And that's why I put in here. So that's the things. The archive directory is under G data. You want me make it bigger? Yeah, easier.
Oh yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. Okay. So
The
it's just
base directory and the archive directory, like they can be on any disk. It's just like usually you'll be copying it from Scratch to G data, but you might be copying it from Scratch to another location on Scratch. It doesn't matter. Just the sort of basically the directory that you want the experiment to be saved in, or the directory that the experiment is saved in for the base directory. That makes sense.
Yep. Thanks, Chloe. Yep. And yeah, of course, after you archive the data, you can process those data via the OOD. That's another 3 things. And the third step you need to do is like to check which version you're working on. That is either CM2 or CM2 AMI run or chemistry run or ESM. I think for your case is this one, ESM PayU. No, ESM from scratch one. Because in the workshop we use the PayU version, right? But at the beginning we didn't use the PayU. We used the Scratch. We use like the K shell script to run the ESM. Yeah, but in the future it's on the
What version are you going to be using, Liam? Do you know? The PayU, like the university version, or Tilo's version, like you ran Scenic 6 with?
I am not sure.
It's all right. I think when you really want to start it, we will have another meeting or something. You let me know. But just today, I just quickly tell you, we have like 2 versions of ESM. The Scratch, the script one that's based on the K shell script. The other one is the PayU script. The PayU script is the one we have done in the workshop.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. The output is very different because the PayU output will be by output 0000, output 0001, output 0001. Yeah, but the script one, the output will followed by the year, like I showing here, similar to our CM2 run. You will straight away have this kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but I guess the PayU will be different. PayU will put in somewhere else. Yeah, slightly different.
The PayU is like output 000, output 001, and very generic file names. But the archiver, you can because you can tell it which one it is. The final archive data set will be the same, no matter whether you use the scripted version of PayU.
Yeah, this is what I'm showing here.
The final archive result will be the same.
Okay.
As
Just like
in all of the
different format.
000 bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like the directory will be different. Like this is a PayU run, but that's for the OM.
That's
be under
right, yeah.
000 atmosphere.
Okay.
The fire still no, because this is OM, so I don't have the I don't have atmosphere part here. But if you go back to check, you will have something like this.
Okay.
Yeah, you will see the difference. Yeah. Okay. So that's the difference why you choose the scripts or from the PayU. But if you are using Tilo's job, then mostly it's the ESM script. Yeah. So you change this one to the script, access versions. Or if you have your own new run based on the PayU, you change it to the ESM PayU. Yeah. And then that's it. That's the third step. The fourth one is you need to convert or not, but of course, definitely we will recommend to convert to NetCDF. Only the people from the bureau, they do those high case or something, forecast, they prefer to use PP. But for us, we prefer to use NetCDF. So you just like this is true. Yeah. Okay. The next step, if you have like a 3-hourly or 6-hourly data, if you do not have it or you don't need it, then just make it false.
Okay.
Yep. The last one, I think that's it. The multiple job. So if you like 100 of the job, and then you just put the local experience, the name, and whatever you just list in here. Yeah, I'll show you what the name looks like. Also, those looks like these things. Can you see that? The CKC, JCL, CP, whatever, you just put all the things under here. You don't need to put a comma, you don't need to put anything, just like a one experience, one line, I guess. And then, yeah, you can multiple process all the things at the same time.
Okay.
And I think, roughly, yeah, I cover everything. That's it. And then after that, you can run it. And then all the details how to run it, either the Thomas one or the one on the original from the Chloe. Yeah, we'll show you on the reader how to run it, and then what module you need maybe. Yeah, and then let's see.
Okay.
Very easy, very easy. This one. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks
so
to Chloe.
Oh yeah. Nice. I was gonna ask for that portion where you said sub daily false. Does that mean the output will include like just daily and monthly? Is that kind of
Yeah, so this flag here, the sub daily equals true or false. If sub daily is false, if sub daily is true, it will just try and do everything, and switching it to false just makes it ignore any sub daily data in the original output, because often Access will just dump a whole bunch of 3-hourly and 6-hourly files, sometimes data in them, sometimes not, depending on kind of like what scripts you've inherited. And so I needed an easy way to just tell the archiver to just ignore the sub-daily data, because all I need is monthly and daily. And so it was just like an easy thing, an easy little switch that I made, where setting it to false just makes it ignore any sub-daily data. That's it. That's all it does.
okay? Great.
The reason is because of the UM. When the UM output, they will have like the job name and then PM or PA, P7, PAP, whatever. The M or A, M that means monthly, A will be annual, and then this is 7, 8, 19, whatever. There's a lot of different numbers in these digits that will represent as 3-hour or 6-hour. So I think based on Chloe's script, they just ignore those things. We just pick up like a PN or PA. That's it.
Okay.
Roughly, because the ESM and the CM2, the output name slightly different. I can't really remember now. After 10 years, I can't remember what's output from the ESM. Yeah, but just the idea is like this. Yeah, the just like Chloe to have that one, and then to tell the script to pick up PM or pick up everything.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I was gonna ask, so is there, just because the files have like a ton of variables and coordinates, I was curious if there's a way to like exclude some or specify just the ones you want, just for the sake of like time. I don't really know if that's a part of it, but
Um,
It's
nope.
not. There was no need for it when I created the package because we were saving everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, we had time and someone wants to build a capability of that into it, then they can kind of go for it. If that's something you need, it might be a fun way to learn the package and get some data skills in, how to manipulate NC codes, because you could write that into the to netcdf function inside the archiver, where it goes through the PP file, it pulls out all of the coordinates and the data, and then basically just copies it to an NC file. And you could kind of have the section there where it would go through the variables and check it maybe against a preset list or something like that, that you would have to probably build that list manually, and you'd have to then know what the variable names that you're after. But it's definitely possible. It was just no need for it.
Okay. Yeah, no worries.
And here, I think that's a really good question. And then here, to show you like the usually output will be looks like this from Atmosphere parts. They will show those field number, and roughly you have like 20 something variables, like the whole things. So you need to really know what do you need.
Okay.
But of course, if you run
Good.
the Simulrise script, that'll be more easier to understand what is that. But before that, this is just like a raw data. Then the suite for this script just like a tidy up, and then convert the data and whole things.
So
Okay.
for a bit broader context that will explain maybe why there was no need for it, is because the archiver was created specifically to enable the APP program, which is the secondary script that creates the CMIP6-like data. And so at that point, when you're summarizing data and it's, putting it all in a file directory structure that's all very neat with, fixed names that are CMIP6 names, and you're like creating a final kind of publishable data set. At that point, that was when we would choose what variables we need and what variables we don't need and what we were producing and that kind of stuff. And so there was no need at the archiving section to cull variables, because we basically did that at the next section, because the archiver just takes raw output and makes kind of like raw output that's kind of like only semi-processed. The idea was just to like put it into a format that was very usable, which is netcdf, and just like cut down the amount of space by compressing it much better. And then with file names and a internal directory structure in the raw data to enable the APP to then run effectively, because I wrote the APP post-processor was created first, and then I created this program to ensure that the model output was consistent so that the APP would run. And so a big part of the archiver is to prepare data for the APP specifically, if that makes sense.
It does. Sure. Okay. That makes sense.
Does that kind of make sense why there was no need for it to cut down the variables at that point?
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
Yep. Here, just show
I'm
you
not saying
like sorry. You go first.
Not saying that, that's not a reasonable thing to have, because you're not necessarily aiming to run the APP straight away on your data. If you're using it for research purposes, you might only need the archive data, in which case you might want to then hold down the list of variables that you're saving. I would just caution you to be like generous with the amount of data that you're saving in the raw data, because the point of this archive set is that you delete the original set. And so this becomes your point of truth almost. You know what I mean? Like this becomes your base reference data set that has everything you need, so that if you do screw up the post-processing or whatever and you need to go back to the original data, this becomes your raw data set. And
Ooh.
so, I mean, having everything in there makes sense because you want to be able to access everything that was produced in the simulation.
Yeah, you don't want to ditch variables you might need later down the line, or somebody might need, I guess. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep, here to show you, like I said before, the output will be like a P7, P8, 3 hourly, 6 hourly, PD daily, PM, that's monthly.
Mhm.
Yep, can you see
And
that?
so if you've got subdaily equals false, it will just ignore the P7 and P8 files, which are subdaily.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
There's another thing I want you to be really careful. Like because that's when I process the data, sometimes I'll figure out that's will be the issue. The output, even next CDF will be like this, like April, August, yeah, we can read it, but machine cannot read it. So if you use like a CDO or just like a Python to concatenate data, they will follow by this sequence. So if
Okay.
you use the CDO, it won't work. But in the Python, you can you can sort by the time. They won't, back to the January to December. Otherwise, you'll be kind of like this, and then yeah, something like this, it won't work. Yeah, you got
Is this
to find
is this your raw data?
Yeah.
This is your archive. This is not archive data because
No.
the archiver will get rid of this
Okay.
APR, AUG, DEC. It'll replace it with a numbering.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah.
Yeah, which is one of those aspects that needed to
Okay.
be done.
That's another
to
three
enable
things. Yeah.
APP so that it was reading in the months in the correct order and not in this bizarre order.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize that. But that's a good news. Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can't. Once you can't calculate the data, will be kind of like start from April and then now it's in September. Yeah, and then you find something really, really amazing.
You get results that you very
Yeah.
confused by.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people like install stuff from different months. That'll be any other questions? And how about Peter? Do you have anything you want to? I think you're mute.
No, not really. I think that's pretty much covered it. Yeah, I mean that model of archiving does presume that you haven't messed too much with, messed in a good and useful way with the file names of the output streams. So, that PM really is monthly data, etc. It could be that you do want to change those things, and Chloe has built in a way of doing that. But just to be aware that the setup, does have certain assumptions that are, for example, a PM file contains monthly data. And for some experiments, you might find at some point that's not the case. Well, the archiver can also be used in those situations, but they're a bit more kind of your corner cases. But definitely use the tool, but perhaps have a little bit of a chat about what it's actually doing with someone who's maybe had some experience with that. So yeah, but apart from that, it's been a very thorough description, so nothing to add.
Mhm.
Right. Thank you so much. And I'll stop sharing and then also stop the recording and then we can have some chatting.